Every single celebrity in the culture has been to Diddy's house. I've seen Diddy have to hire extra security, almost the military, to stop people from wanting to scale the wall to get in his house, because on the other side of that wall is Beyonce, Jay-Z, and every big star you want to know.
Apparently, Jason Lee might have just created a real trouble with his own tongue. In the heat of the current investigation of Diddy's criminal bashes, Jason came forward and dropped a few names, exposing all the celebs he personally saw applying that baby oil in Diddy's secret freaky chambers. Jay-Z, Jakes, Travis Scott, and Teyana Taylor. It looks like the whole Tinseltown was a part of these freak-off parties, and the feds might be knocking on their doors real soon with questions. According to Jason Lee, there are more than 200 names on that list, and folks, you better brace yourself because you may hear about one of your faves to do something inappropriate. And here's the worst part. Jason is now in trouble because he dared to go online and spill all the wild stories that the music industry never wanted to go out.
And these stories about Diddy being evil, I've heard he was the devil, I heard he was evil. He even once threatened me.
While the rest of Tinseltown is busy scrapping down their social media, Jason Lee jumps both feet into actions. And folks, the stuff he's sharing will shock the industry to the core. Like that story of yet unnamed celeb who was invited to Puff's house to play with Cassie and baby oil. And there's anyone to spill the tea on that criminal rooster, it's going to be Jason Lee. He's made a lot of friends and connections in the industry in the past few years, and believe me, he's gathered thousands of dirty stories on them. Here's what one celebrity shared with him. One time I was chilling, and I got a call that Puff wanted me to come over. I pulled up, and he wanted me to play with Cassie's private parts and this and that, and he would sit there filming and playing with myself. And here's why his stories are credible. In the past, Jason was tight with Diddy and his closest circle, but it was long before all this freak-off drama popped off. He joined Diddy's Revolt TV in 2023 to start his own talk show. So he was at Diddy's crib a lot, seeing all the freaky business go down firsthand. But now, he's out there allegedly working with the feds and pointing fingers at the others. I don't know what's his real reasons to come forward with all that tea. Maybe he wants to look like one of the good guys, because now, Jason claims he and the bad boy parted ways a long time ago.
I don't have a friendship with Diddy. He's not my friend. We don't hang out. We've texted a few times. I was on his network.
Jason really stepped into the game with all these bombshells. And ever since that list became viral, Jason claims his life and safety have been in danger because he's basically being hunted by half of Hollywood. As he mentioned, I've been pretty much an open book with the action and activities, but I try to conceal the names because I don't want people bothering them. I learned as people started getting to know me, they would go track down anybody I'm involved with and then mistreat them. But since it's just a matter of time before all the accomplices are identified, Jason's revelations may just speed up the process for the authorities. And plus, don't get me wrong, folks, but aren't we all craving to find out who's been attending those after parties at Diddy's house? His infamous freak-off bashes stirred up a lot of attention, especially with the recent explosive photos featuring A-listers and modern idols like J-Lo, Kim K, and others. According to Jason, this is just the surface, and the most freakish stuff happened at after parties, which were filled with selected high-profile celebrities like Beyonce, Jay-Z, and others. Apparently, as the big crowd went home, Diddy had his bash continue and even hired top-level security to keep the paparazzi and unwanted eyes from sneaking in. Jason also mentioned that he stayed after from all the dark after-party activities.
Parties. I've been to Diddy's birthday parties. I wasn't at Diddy after dark.
And while Jason has a lot to say about Diddy's alleged actions and everyone else doing shady and illegal stuff behind the closed doors, he also mentioned that the bad boy sons, Justin and Christian Combs, have never been involved in anything like their father is being accused of. As you know, during the raids, Diddy's sons felt the legal heat as the law enforcement brutally handcuffed them, and later, some alleged victims of their own mistreatment came forward with wild accusations and lawsuits. It's normal to see everyone close to Diddy as a villain these days, and of course, some people began to speculate that Jason himself might not be as innocent as he pretends to be. Rumors began to spread that he was also an active participant in these wild parties. Jason quickly responded to these rumors during an Instagram live session, maintaining his innocence.
I can read you my text message to Diddy. What day is it airing on the show, on the network? Are you coming on the show?
Despite the shocking revelations and more A-listers connected to Diddy, Jason continues to deny that he ever participated in anything inappropriate at these events, standing by his claim that he was only there for business. Every single celebrity in the culture has been to Diddy's house, which means they've gone through all his phones, text messages. I can read you my text messages to Diddy. It's all been business for me. But if you check the whole story with the lawsuits and how it unraveled, you should know that Jason was one of the first to break the news when Cassie accused Diddy of mistreating her during their decade-long relationship. It was also him who leaked to the media that Diddy settled the lawsuit within one day and cashed out $30 million. Apparently, being a professional gossiper pays off, and Jason got the inside scoop from some folks in Diddy's tight circle who were feeling chatty.
I'm going to find an attorney who's willing to work with me to do this. I'm going to find a journalist who's going to write the story.
When skeletons began to rattle in Diddy's cupboard, he made everything possible to stop that mess from covering him from head to toe. I mean, you don't throw that kind of money around if nothing went down, and everything Cassie said was later proven by a shocking video from the hotel. And let's not forget, Diddy's not exactly swimming in those millions he used to make. Even though Cassie's lawsuit was quickly settled, more victims came forward exposing the disturbing details of their experience with the bad boy. And whoop, all his businesses and partnerships started to fall apart. Even Revolt decided to drop him, announcing Sean Combs has stepped down from his position as chairman of Revolt. His business empire continues to face the fallout, and even though he instantly patched up things with Cassie, the showball effect began truly destructive for the bad boy, despite his public apology.
I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted.
And folks, the whole thing with that Cassie lawsuit was rather suspicious. Since the start, considering the headlines were mentioning amicable resolution and Puff even sending his ex all the best vibes, we have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best. Love. But it didn't Diddy from the total exposure left and right. And while Cassie was the only brave to share the humiliating details of her relationship with Puff, the rest of the showbiz went all silent mode. But you see, according to the indictment, Diddy was no fool, and every freak-off party guest was silenced one way or another, some by generous compensations, others by blackmailing. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-off as collateral against the victims, electronic devices that contained images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And while we've all been speculating who was a part of that tight circle privy to Diddy's wild bashes, Jason Lee went full-on exposing the list of celebs he saw at these parties. And guess what? It's basically everyone that matter in Hollywood.
Jay-Z at his house. I've seen T.D. Jakes at his house. I've seen Chris Brown at his house. I've seen Jordan Woods at his house. I've seen Travis Scott at his house.
Among them are Steve Stout, Aaron Hall, Stevie J, Dr. Dre, The Game, Lil Rod, Chris Brown, Bishop T.D., Jakes, Justin Bieber, Usher, and Cuba Gooding Jr., which is already quite an impressive gathering, and some of them even have pristine reputation in the industry and many business deals and partnerships with the companies and brands that Jason might have just ruined with a few sentences.
Get a lot of these celebrities that have all these brand deals that are tied to millions and millions of dollars. They don't have the freedom to go and advocate for themselves. So they just sit there and watch them just get destroyed. And I feel like for me,
the confirmation of the list's legitimacy is still pending, but it's not we've got any reasons not to trust Jason. According to the indictment that was made public after Diddy's arrest, the authorities are expected to interrogate every identifiable participant from his party videos. And as we know, the feds already got a huge collection of tapes to study. There have always been whispers about Diddy being shady, and it sounds like those stories might have more truth to them than folks want to admit. But folks on social media are now wondering about the reasons why Jason Lee wants to snitch on basically everyone in Tinseltown. As one person commented, Jason Lee is full of it. He claims it's only a business relationship with Diddy, yet he all up in Diddy house. Claimed to know his kids really well, and was at his parties. Come on, dude. And another user added, he was at these parties too, so think about it. They all play the same games, just caring about all they want and need no matter who it hurts. Right after Diddy got cuffed, rumors started flying around throwing shade at everyone working for Puff. Jason may not be as squeaky clean as he's trying to act. And with these accusations blowing up all over social media, he had to jump on Egg Live to set the record straight. And instead of clearing things up for himself, he created a perfect distraction and dropped even more names from the Diddy party scene.
I've seen Beyonce at his house. I've seen Teyana Taylor. I've seen them all.
But despite all this name dropping, Jason's still swearing up and down that he's innocent and that his relationship with Diddy was strictly business. Somehow, seeing the whole debauchery around himself, Jason Lee, as he says, remained strictly professional, but just because you go to a Diddy party doesn't mean that you were getting sprayed down with Vaseline and baby oil. Because I can tell you right now, ain't nobody ever sprayed me with nothing, and I don't even play around like that. He was even eager to show his messages with Diddy to prove it was all strictly business related, like booking him on shows, talking network stuff, no funny business. But as for the rest of partygoers, well, they might be needing some legal counseling very soon because Jason Lee is either done holding back or wants to hype on the trendy topic and make a name as the main whistleblower.
There's anything with being a blogger, but that's your way of minimizing my impact, or that's your way of minimizing my power.
And when you check the photos from Diddy's bashes, it becomes evident that Jason wasn't lying. There's proof that all these folks have been linked to Diddy, especially with official photos and reports from the parties. For instance, DaBaby spilled the tea himself during an interview with Shannon Sharpe, and it's available for everyone to watch. During that chat, DaBaby talked about a private meeting he had with Beyonce and Jay at Diddy's crib, and even said Diddy got quite touchy with him in front of his VIP guests. Did he mean to turn DaBaby into another toy boy? Because, as history shows, Diddy's parties are getting messier by the minute, and with all the laced bottles and substances distributed, it's easy to find yourself in a rather dangerous situation.
An era where celebrities got to be careful and got to be fearful at all times because...
And if you start to connect the dots, it all becomes clear. Earlier this year, Jason Lee already hinted that he knows one quite a dirty secret about Beyoncé and even tried to blackmail her on camera, saying he had some dirt on her that could completely wreck her career. It was right after the first whispers of freak-offs hit the headlines, and if Jason was true to his word, we could have witnessed Queen Bee and her hubby Jay right next to Diddy. But, of course, back then, he was holding back, claiming he won't spill the tea just yet. Can you imagine if I put that on Hollywood Unlocked? So that in itself, I feel like there should be a little love there from Beyoncé. So when it comes to teasing the audience with some dirty details, Jason Lee is a pro, and according to him, he's still got the receipts on the receipt on the Read to Biba, and he's not afraid to use them if Beyoncé doesn't come forward with a few favors.
We're friends in the game. We support each other. We help each other out. Can you imagine had I put that on Hollywood Unlocked? Oh, there was one more thing.
In fact, Jason may create a lot of difficulties for Beyoncé and others if he starts dropping these receipts. And if he does, there's gonna be mess. And speaking of mess, Diddy's inner circle is already feeling heat with all the crazy footage that surfaces online, like that wild video of him spanking Jay-Z's cheeks on stage. If the bad boy allowed himself to behave like this in front of a large crowd, knowing we all live in the era of filming and streaming, imagine what kind of wild activities he indulges in when no one is looking. There are already legit photos of a bunch of rappers, A-listers, and other celebs at Diddy's infamous all-white parties getting handsy with the half-dressed escorts, touching them up and clearly freaking off with them. And then there's a big question about Diddy doing dirty stuff with young artists. I mean, very young. There once was a time when a baby-faced Justin Bieber has been hanging out with the music mogul, and according to Diddy, they couldn't disclose what they would be doing. It feels like we already know the truth. The rumor now has it that the feds discovered something utterly disgusting while checking the tapes they have captured, and in one particular footage, he was doing some quite illegal with Justin. It seems like the music mogul didn't have enough time to destroy all the explosive footage with boys, and he's now knee-deep in legal drama, similar to R. Kelly. The whispers about him using fresh talent for his own sick pleasure, pretending he was like a wise mentor or something, crumbled as the feds have watched hours of videotapes and found something that explained Justin's broken soul.
This is not going to be good. I'm not going to be able to make it through that. And it's just, no, it won't work.
This horrible, intimate connection between Diddy and his protege is nothing new, and Jason Lee Aslow mentioned Justin's name during his name dropping. Now, just to prove it all, several strange footage of young Justin Bieber being offered a car for his 16th birthday by a 40-year-old music mogul resurfaced.
As soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come in LA. Yeah, this gonna be yours.
The whole story of Diddy being into intimate activities with much young male artists is about to add more drama to his criminal saga. It's no longer about freak-offs and forced intimate activities with women. It goes deeper and may send Diddy behind the bars for the rest of his life. And even Justin himself tried to hint about being the victim of this whole freak-off activities. In his 2020 documentary, Justin Bieber, next chapter, the baby hitmaker opened up about the struggles of his early career and namely his mentorship by Puffy. Like, man, is this pain ever going to go away? It was so consistent. The pain was so consistent. I was just suffering, right? So I'm just like, man, I would rather not feel this than feel this. The singer's mental health problems are nothing new for his fans, and apparently, the whispers about him being deeply mistreated and taken advantage of by some of the industry big names are truthful. There's a footage with Diddy standing alongside 15-year-old Justin as he tells viewers how he can't really disclose what they will be doing as they spend 48 hours together. Diddy, who was 40 at the time, then claimed how he had been given custody of Justin.
So, and we gonna go full crazy.
But if you think that Justin was having a blast with Diddy, having the time of his life and picking up some music tips, in fact, it seems like a creepy experience for a young man, especially when it was discovered that Diddy promised to gift Justin an expensive car at the end of their weekend together. And in fact, in July 2010, when the young singer was gifted a Lamborghini by Diddy for his 16th birthday, just 3 months after passing his driving test, no one asked a single question, yet this generous gesture is raising a lot of eyebrows amidst the secret lifestyle that Sean Combs have been living all these decades. With some of the victims of his mistreatment coming forward, it's clear that there are many who haven't spoken yet, and judging by the signs, the baby singer is among one of them.
People have taken advantage of you in the past?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, people take advantage, of course.
Diddy's current situation is getting messy with tons of heavy accusations covering him from head to toe. Among them, the claims he had mistreated his artists in an intimate way, trafficking, and even being implicated in the demises of other rappers. But guess what? With the new evidence of him being allegedly intimate with young Justin, things might change for him quite soon and for worse. As Justin himself revealed, the industry was a vile place for a young boy. It's like this ongoing cycle of hurt people. I was just this young kid. Back in the day, Diddy probably thought none of it would even dare to expose his shenanigans. So after Justin Bieber spent those infamous 48 hours with him, the young man was so shaken up that he never went back to hang with the rappers again. There's even a clip where Diddy himself asked Justin why he ghosted him after those 2 days.
Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Now, Justin Bieber didn't technically go to Diddy's flavor camp, but that didn't stop Diddy from getting real close to him. Diddy showered Bieber with gifts, promising him a red Ferrari for his 16th birthday and a mansion for his 18th. People are still talking about this one video clip that's been circulating where Diddy says Bieber was gonna be with him for 48 hours, and they now find the whole interaction between them creepy and full of red flag.
Where would you like to go?
Wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
The current indictment describing Diddy's crimes are currently 14 pages long, but I guess with new revelations, it may expand and legal saga would actually take years before sentencing. It also means trouble for both him and anyone who's been associated with him in the past. Recently, for example, old footage of Chris Brown attending one of his parties resurfaced online, and it shows the singer dancing on Diddy's 50-foot bed. And if the stuff you see on that video is quite innocent, we know from the indictment that this was just a facade and the most disturbing parts were filmed exclusively by the bad boy himself. As one witness shared with the media, weird stuff was starting to happen. Celebrity guys sleeping with each other. There were back bedrooms, and it was like the inner sanctum. The question now lingers who the feds will be contacting first, because if you ask me, there's the whole Tinseltown that must be questioned and brought under scrutiny. Everyone who participated in freak-offs knew exactly where they're going and what lines they have crossed.
Dirty work. And then, regardless if you're guilty or not, you're gonna lose everything.
Turns out, Diddy was running the whole empire of evil, not only at his parties, but through his sick mentorship as well. Mistreatment of young artists was the main goal of Diddy's so-called flavor camp. Word is, these camps were more about freak-off parties than sharing knowledge, and he was forcing male teenagers who were there to join in. Even Usher, Diddy's former protege, backed this up. Usher has recently decided to spill everything about his experience at Puffy Flavor Camp.
Uncommon. That's not an uncommon thing if you consider yourself an artist. Right. That is part of artist.
Right now, Hollywood is undergoing a significant shift, with celebrities trying to hold Diddy accountable for his crimes. Usher has stayed in the shadows for quite a while, but he possesses compelling evidence against his former mentor, which he didn't hesitate to reveal. So apparently, many celebrities are planning to take Diddy down this year as they open up about his atrocities and criminal activities, and who knows the behind the scenes of Diddy's lifestyle better than his ex-protege, Usher. After all, the man has spent the whole year with the music mogul under one roof, and as whispers say, they even shared the bed.
That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause.
Now, being a father himself, Usher swore to protect his own kid from folks like Sean Diddy Combs and the likes, and he's finally ready to reveal the darkest chapter of his life. A year of partying with Diddy where he had experienced all sorts of things. Back in the days, the R&B singer tried to hint at Puffy's crazy shenanigans. I went there to see the lifestyle, and I saw it, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild. Well, you all know that at the tender age of 14, Usher was sent to live and be mentored by Puff Diddy, and I guess you've all heard crazy stuff that people close to Diddy were telling about his bashes and lifestyle.
DVJ, the Usher part, that's a touchy situation, man.
The initial idea of such a cringeworthy experience was to plunge Usher into the hip-hop reality, and Diddy certainly did more than just mentorship, considering the wildest allegations that the rapper took his young protege to parties with adults and men, only clubs, and even started sharing a bed with him at some point. Apparently, Usher had his share of quite interesting experience with Diddy when he was flown to New York, and it left a huge mark on his mental health. I mean, even grown-ups are staying away from Diddy's parties. And you may remember how 50 Cent, one of the toughest guys in the music industry, revealed he would never set a foot in Diddy's house. The revelations about those infamous bashes are coming out from all sources, and everyone who had a chance to take a peek at what's happening at Diddy's are left with these impressions forever.
Puffy's place was just filled with chicks and orgying nonstop, right?
No, not really.
Considering all the rumors and allegations surrounding Diddy, he gave Usher the liberty to see and even do all the adult stuff, like he was his equal. As Usher recalls, he wasn't disciplinary. He was letting me be a young man. It makes me wonder, did Usher's mom know what was going on, and if so, why did she choose to turn the blind eye and let Puff do whatever he wanted? It feels like he managed to convince Janetta in entrusting her teenage boy to a grown-up man and not to worry about anything. Yet Usher has now a completely different intake on that.
The hard dynamic, especially if you come from an industry where you know what it takes.
Well, if you wonder what kind of things Usher has been exposed to when he was living with Diddy and his so-called puffy flavor camp, let me tell you that Usher allegedly tasted all the vicious flavors in the industry, if you know what I mean. There's a story from rapper named Ed Lover who was negatively shocked when he entered a club and saw Usher in the VIP section drinking champagne right from the bottle. And let me remind you that the future Red Star didn't reach the legal age for doing all that stuff. Yeah, Diddy has always felt like no one can tell him what to do, and allowing a teenage boy drink adult beverages like this. I mean, this was just a beginning of Puff's atrocities.
Time, you know what I mean?
Luckily for Usher, he was Puff's protege and not the enemy, because who knows what could have happened to him in this case. However, Usher seemed to have prepared a bombshell of his kind that will rock the industry and mint a few coins for him. And when he was asked by a reporter what other liberties Diddy allowed him to do, the rapper simply said, "I want to save some stuff for my book one day. I'll put it this way. There was a lot of stuff." Let's hope that Usher, Jason Lee, and other whistleblowers won't be facing the same fate as Diddy's ex-girlfriend Kim Porter, because every time someone from the bad boys circle start to share disturbing details on Diddy's wild lifestyle, well guys, you know what happens with these people. And with Jason Lee's generous revelations and name-dropping, folks believe that he might be just the next to be looking for protection from this monster. As one person wrote, everyone in Hollywood trying to save face either deny or play the victim. I love the downfall. And another user doesn't believe in Jason's innocence. Check what this person wrote. He was in on it. You're telling me you've seen all this all these years and kept your mouth shut till now. So, we've been waiting for an industry snitch to expose everyone connected to these wild parties, and it looks like Jason Lee wants to secure a deal for himself by exposing all celebs. But what do you think about this, folks? Was Diddy really oiling them all up with that Johnson & Johnson at his house? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check my other videos.